Coming up on Trench Life, what a weekend of college football. We recap all the latest with the two guys who know the SEC inside and out, Chris Doering and Peter Burns. Plus, we take a look back at the Joe Moore Award Semi-Finalists. Trench Life starts now. Welcome into Trench Life. Now do me a favor and smash those like and subscribe buttons so we can keep bringing you all this great O-line content. Now the SEC at one point felt like maybe they could have up to 7 teams in the CFP, but after they keep beating up on each other, the conference is all up in the air. And who better to talk about all of this than the two guys who cover the SEC from top to bottom each and every day. I caught up with Peter Burns and Chris Doering earlier this week as we go in the trenches, presented by DonJoy. All right, according to advanced metrics, Peter Burns and Chris Doering lead the country in 2 categories: best on-air chemistry and best duo to play dress-up. Now, according to loyal Trench Life supporter Cubed Up 61, he's asking the question America wants to know: do Chris and Peter dress up in costumes for anyone else or just each other?
I mean, it's normally just whoever wins the LSU Florida wager, although we almost went for Dumb and Dumber as this year for Halloween, and I don't know which would have been the dumber one after our takes after the last couple of weeks. So,
AT, here's the deal, man. It was Halloween. We're going to dress up as Dumb and Dumber. These are like the professional costumes. Everything's perfect. And then this guy tells me, oh, we got to be serious. The LSU talk. It was the whole press conference. It would have been perfect because it was a clown show in Baton Rouge, and Dumb and Dumber, we would have been the least dumb and looking people on the day that day.
Oh, buddy. But so you're saying there's a chance, and that's probably a really good segue to this Texas A&M team that proved that you can survive a nightmare in the first half because it was a tale of 2 halves. What'd you guys each learn about the Aggies, which is a team that up to that point hadn't really been tested?
CD, have you ever recall more of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde game than that ever? I was telling AT maybe the comeback, like where Alabama was up to 24-0 at one point in the Iron Bowl, and then Cam Newton comes back. But I don't ever recall seeing such a difference between first and second half ever.
Yeah, I don't either. And AT, I said this on our show last night, man. I think sometimes how you handle success is more difficult than how you handle failure. And for Texas A&M, I feel like they're in some uncharted waters a little bit here. Everybody's talking about how great they are. They got a chance to do something that we didn't expect any SEC team to do, and that's go undefeated. And they acted like, hey, we're just going to roll the balls out there and win this game. South Carolina's having a tough season. We're a better team than them. We should be number 1 in the polls. And yet they got exposed a little bit. They got exposed in some shots in the secondary. South Carolina's able to run the ball against them like a lot of teams have. And so I think the focus level, no halftime adjustments. They came out there and did the things that they didn't do in the first half. That's make the throws, make the catches, make the kicks. And you could see, a totally different focus from this team than you saw in the first 30 minutes, PB.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, too, on our show on Saturday. It was like, at some point, it's not about what the coaches say. It's the players and the seniors, the older guys, the vets look around and say, all right, fellas, we're not going out like this. Let's just go execute and do our jobs. And they certainly did that. And how about Oklahoma, man? They didn't just save Brent Venables' job. They kicked the damn door open to the college football playoff and they're going to make things real interesting. What do you make of a team that's basically beaten teams one-handed?
I'm going to call out PB. My guy PB and I.
Come on now. Why? Why are you doing this?
AT, we were on the show Friday morning, man. He was on the right track. He said all the right things. Styles make fights. It's a bad matchup for Alabama. He picked OU, as I did on that show. And then he backed out of it. He got scared on Saturday, tweeted it out, probably to Wade's bigger platform. He backed out of it and went with Alabama because he thought that was the safe play.
I know.
Man.
I want to throw up a little.
Yourself?
I know because I'm pathetic. I'm the dumber of the dumb and dumber here between the two. Because at least if you're gonna go have a take and stick with it, and I've believed it. I was like, even with R. Mason Thomas when he got out, that's where I was like, all right, that's a little too bridge too far, and it's Bryant-Denny Stadium. That place is gonna be rocking. But I was damn wrong, man. That was incredible for them to be CD so. One-dimensional, not only for Alabama, but just the fact Oklahoma won that game with 212 yards. That was wild.
Yeah, don't be surprised by that, though. AT, that's what we've seen all year long, and that's why I'm worried about Alabama in the postseason. They're a one-dimensional team that Ty Simpson has bailed them out time and time again. They've had offensive line issues, as I'm sure you're aware. Looking at that right tackle situation, came back to haunt them yesterday. The backs are soft in pass protection. LSU exposed them there. Venables and that Oklahoma defensive staff saw it on tape, and they created matchups and pressures and simulated pressures that were advantageous for that defense. It forced Ty Simpson into some errant throws, 11 off-target throws, which is the most of his career, and ultimately that pick six that he tried to throw hot on, and Oklahoma knew exactly where he was going with the football and took advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really one of the things that when I look at it, it's like, who you going to believe, me or my lying eyes? It's like it's hard to kind of trust sometimes what you see, and then you get cold feet like you do, Peter. You're like, no, I can't pick against Alabama. They're Alabama. But I think really what I've seen is that the parity that we have has lowered the ceiling, it's raised the floor, and it's kind of made this mush in the middle. I'm not seeing a team that's dominant top to bottom, particularly in the SEC. Whose warts, whose weaknesses concern you the most extending this towards the playoff?
I mean, I'll start there. I mean, obviously the Alabama aspect of it, of just being one-dimensional, like CD said. I do have some question marks about Ole Miss. You know, is it a product of what their schedule has been so far? But, you know, Kewan Lacey was great. That was the first time I saw Trinidad Chambliss look a little bit kind of questionable early in that game of the bad pick. But outside of that, he was still pretty solid. But, you know, I mean, we've seen the best of the best, and the best of the best is some of what Georgia has played in the second half. I mean, the way they just out-physicaled, and Kirby had that look, and you know exactly that look on his face. CD, what look did Kirby Smart have on his face? When did you and I last see that look? We were watching a game together when we saw that look.
Yeah, the TCU national championship game. In that pregame interview, he talked about, hey, we're going to go out and hunt, you know, and that was the intensity that I saw from Georgia. Everybody looks at this as a blowout. This was a 4-point game going into the fourth quarter. Georgia outscored them 21-0. It was the aggressiveness. It was the fourth down decisions to go for it twice on that same drive. It was the onside kick when you had a chance to put your foot on their throat. I love the way that they executed. And on the flip side, the execution for Texas, they keep killing themselves. You mentioned it earlier, AT, like players have to make plays in those situations. They had 4 drops. They were 0 of 6 on third down. Ryan Wingo makes the tremendous big plays, but he's got to make the regular plays. And that's the thing that frustrates me about where Texas is right now. And to your point about Ole Miss, PB, I think you go back and look, Lane gets too cute. He was too cute in red zone situations against Oklahoma, putting Austin Simmons in down there. You got Kewan Lacey, he's the best red zone runner in the country. Why are we throwing the ball? I know the play was set up there, and Trinidad Chambliss missed a couple down. But you get 2 fourth-down goal line stands from Florida that made it a game, Aaron, when it shouldn't even have been a game. If you just hand the ball to Kewan Lacey, the ball game's over. So I do worry about them with some deficiencies and getting a little too cute for their own good once in a while.
Yeah, and I want to ask this with delicate gloves because I understand the sensitivities of this, but the pass interference call in the Ole Miss-Florida game, how did you guys see that?
How do you pick that flag up? You called it on the field at the time. You picked the flag up. I don't know what showed you anything that in that conversation that it wasn't pass interference there. He was hit early. That changes the ball game. 1st and 10, you're not in the shadow of your own goalpost anymore, PB, and you're able to be a little bit more aggressive. I just hate the way the officiating took an exciting potential finish out of the hands of the fans watching that ball game.
Yeah, and honestly, and nobody will ever say it, it wasn't necessarily a makeup call. But remember, right before half, you know, I mean, that should have been a call. Whatever the illegal hands to the face, and basically they said it was a dead ball foul when it should have been a live ball foul, which would have given Ole Miss, 1st and goal right before half to score. So, again, a horrible call that went against Ole Miss at the beginning of the half, a horrible call that went against Florida. And at the end of the day, Ole Miss is cheering, but some awkward times, AT, out there for those Ole Miss fans now, just because of that guy right. I don't know which one I'm looking on the thing, but that guy, Doering's former team, the Florida Gators.
Let's be honest, AT. He's gone. There's no way he's staying. Everybody else has signed an extension that's staying. He's trying to say the right things. They just need to accept that he's leaving. Treat it like he's a senior. Treat it like everybody's last dance together. Let's go win a championship, and then we're going on the way. He hasn't denied it. He hasn't tried to play the game, but if he was going to stay, he would have signed an extension right now. I think the writing's on the wall.
How do you feel about that as an alum?
I mean, it's awkward for me, Aaron, because I'm, working for the SEC Network. I don't advocate for any coach to leave an SEC school to go to another SEC school. This is the guy that Florida is all in on. The fan base has talked about him for years now. I think it's going to come to fruition. But if it doesn't for some reason, I think it's going to be a heartbreak that Florida may not be able to recover from, because I don't think there's a close second that unites the fan base the way that Lane does.
So let me ask you guys this, and AT, on your pod, I want to get your opinion on it, right? How should Lane Kiffin handle this? Because I don't know if there's a good answer. Because, the way you traditionally handle it, right, is you tell your team about it, which he's done. You lock in and continue to win games, which he's done. Tell your fan base, Ole Miss, how much you love them and how much it means to them. He's done all of that. And he's given them 6 years as well, too. This is not, hey, I was here for 13 months and Willie Taggart, I'm leaving, all different type places. Like, he's put them in a position they've never been before. I just don't know with the calendar the way it is. What's the proper way to say we're going to enjoy the good times, but also, hey, I'm not going to be here next year? I don't know what that right answer is.
Yeah, I don't know if there is one, man. Is there any easy way to break up with somebody, right? You just got to rip the Band-Aid off, or at least do it in a way that causes the least amount of controversy or distraction within the program. And that's not taking place, and that's certainly not Lane that's, floating this stuff up. When this information gets out, it's in nobody's best interest. There's certainly excitement in the fan base of Florida, want some new blood. They want something to look forward to. But Ole Miss is saying, whoa, hold up, y'all. We got a good thing going. We're looking pretty good for being this playoff thing. Chill out.
Here's the best piece of advice I would give right now to Lane Kiffin, and it's free and unsolicited, and he won't listen to me, okay? Log off. Literally log off. Like, you do not, like lock in. You owe it to the Ole Miss players. You owe it to the boosters, those fans, and you owe it to yourself. Like, go enjoy this ride. But I think the only deal I have with it is that he continues to play footsie with the Ole Miss fan base as if he's still going to be there. And maybe he is, right? But, right before the game, he tweets out this picture of the visor that he's going to wear, or at least that's for him on the bus, that says Lane 2026 in Ole Miss colors. Well, what does that tell you? Like, all right, you're saying there's a chance that, you're not 1 foot out of the door. Like, just stop doing that. Like, embrace it. And like CD said, say, hey, this is the last year. We're going out to seniors. Let's go have some fun. I'm not going to be here next year. You're not going to be here next year. But hell, let's go win a damn championship and enjoy it. Just don't mess with the people that have supported you for those 6 years in Oxford.
And Aaron, I'll say the worst part about it, I don't think it affects the players, because the players are so used to the transient nature of college football now that they understand a coach leaving. It's the fans that are suffering, those that want the loyalty from both the fans and the players. And, I just listened to some of the Ole Miss podcasts and hearing them. They've given everything they possibly could to Lane Kiffin. They've gotten on the cusp of doing something they've never done before. They got a chance to win a national championship. And in the end, it's not going to be enough. And I hate it for the fans there. I hate it for the fans of college football in general, just not being able to lock into the players. That was the thing for you and I, Aaron. Like, it was awesome to have that relationship with the players, even to the point where they'd follow you in the NFL. And that was the team we were going to cheer for were our guys from college. You just don't have that same sort of loyalty anymore.
Speaking of loyalty, Marcus Freeman's been pretty loyal to them Irish, you know what I'm saying? You guys have both confided in me privately and separately that you cried at the end of Rudy. How do you feel about Notre Dame being in the playoff, maybe keeping an SEC team out?
I mean, they should write letters to Scott Woodward as a thank you to getting BK out of there and bringing Marcus Freeman to the fold, because they do look a different team, man. They're physical. And again, you talk about Alabama learning from the punch that Florida State threw right off the bat. But dang, CD, I mean, Miami and A&M, both of those games right there. And now, they just out physical. They could have embarrassed Pitt. I mean, that game was never close in a game that Pitt had everything in front of them. Game day was there, and that was just an embarrassing performance because they punked them.
Here's the problem that I have, Aaron. I think you would agree with me on this. It's like we cannot minimize what competition on the field means. And I hear people talking about that loss to Miami as if it was last year. It was the same season. So if it comes down to two teams with the same records, I understand that we're talking about teams that are playing very differently now than they were before. But unless there's a major injury or some dynamic that changed the ability to compete, I don't like the idea of, hey, Miami is fading a little bit. Notre Dame's playing better. We're going to take them both at 10-2 records, even though the head-to-head went the Canes' way early in the season.
Big game out west with USC traveling out to Autzen to take on the Oregon Ducks. That the results of that game could have some ramifications on the SEC. Have you guys had a chance to see either of those teams play, and how would you rate them stacking up towards the Southeastern?
I mean, it's down to physicality, right? And you go back and look at this weekend, Oklahoma's more physical than Alabama. Georgia was damn sure more physical than Texas. Even Kirby Smart was talking about it. Which team do I think is a little bit more a little bit more physical. I'm going to say it's Dan Lanning and his commitment to running the ball. And I think Lane Kiffin, CD, has gotten better about that. Like that win against Iowa was like as Big Ten of a Big Ten win as you can ever get. But I still don't know if I necessarily trust that versus, what Lanning can do running the ball and stopping it.
Yeah, I think it was impressive what USC did, finding themselves down early and fighting back, playing a little different style of football than what we've seen from the Trojans in the past. I've also thought that Oregon has been a little more susceptible this year than they were last year. But I do love the DNA. The DNA of who they are is built on SEC style play and physicality. So, I'd rather probably face USC. But to your point, like, that's going to have a lot to do with the number of teams that get into the playoff. And so, I don't know that either team necessarily stacks up against the 5 or potentially 6 that the SEC would get in. But, I do think that they are much more playoff ready because of that physicality that PB was talking about.
Love it. We've had a lot of controversy in the college football playoff, but there's also some within the offensive line world. We're going to talk about some hot takes on food. Need to figure out where you guys fall on the ketchup versus mustard tip when it comes to hot dogs.
Here's the deal. I'm a ketchup guy. I don't know if that's an unpopular take. I'm a ketchup guy and a spicy mustard. I got to have spicy mustard. I can't mess with the honey mustard. Can't mess with the regular yellow mustard. Got to be spicy.
Okay. You're a mixer. You mix them up.
Mix it up a little bit. I do, if we're going hot dog too, I got to have the relish, got to have the chopped onions, got to have the whole deal, man.
That's a little bit Chicago-style hot dog I'm hearing there, a little bit sans the ketchup. You ever go through O'Hare and order 6 of those like I do?
I've been spending a lot of time in Chicago here lately, so definitely becoming acclimated to that style of eating there for sure.
Ketchup and mayo. That's the mix that you need to go. Ketchup and mayo and a hot dog. Let's go. That's the good stuff right there.
Oh, my God. I bet you guys cut the crust off your sandwiches, too. Are you kidding me with the ketchup?
No.
What are we doing?
I don't eat the part of the sandwich that I hold. Where my fingers touch, I leave that part at the end. So I got a lot of issues, man. And those are the least of it, probably.
And did I hear you watch tape in the bathtub?
I do. I'm a 3-bath-a-day guy, Aaron. When I'm at home, I got a nice bathtub with TV, and then I also have a thing that goes across the bathtub. So I'm breaking down tape while relaxing in the warm water. You know how it is. He doesn't know as a golfer, but like before practice, before games, having to get in that hot tub and get warmed up, that's still part of my schedule every day.
And that's not even what pisses me off the most about him, AT. What upsets me the most about him is that each and every week he flies to Charlotte to do the shows, right? He does that. He knows what's going to happen, okay? And he packs a bag every single week. I told him at the beginning, 2 bags, like a Kardashian. Like all you need to do at this point is at the beginning of the season, ship all your suits over to Charlotte, and that way you have a carry-on so you don't have to sit there and worry if my bag came in or wait for the conveyor belt. Just go ahead, grab your carry-on and roll. He can leave all his suits with me, but then no, he sits there every week, packs 2 bags, have to wait and be at the mercy of the airlines, and then has the audacity to complain about, I didn't get in from the airport from this late last night. Like, stop it.
Aaron, he's not like us. This guy has like 2 suits that he recycles. You and I got an extensive wardrobe of suits and sport coats, and so it's not as easy as he likes to describe it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a reluctant luggage checker only because I got this big old orthopedic mattress that I got to travel with. That's the only reason why. Because, and I want to earn some points back here, Peter, I went and I added up the amount of time it takes me to check a bag and to wait for it over the course of the season. It was like a day and a half of my life. And I'm like, I'm not giving up a day and a half of my life to sit by baggage claim 6 to wait for my bag to come out 3rd from last on a consistent weekly basis. Come on,
Chris, step it up. You CD? Think about how good of an analyst you can be and how good of a partner you could be to me if you had an extra day and a half a year to do prep and watch film and have all these great takes. Think about that. You're letting me down.
AT, ask him what his login to Catapult is. He doesn't even know. He's never watched tape in his life. Nobody know how if he even had the login.
No, that's it.
Catapult is the system that we watch film in, Peter?
I know. Listen. Trust me. You don't think I watch film? You don't think I know about Super Tecmo Bowl whenever I just give the ball to Bo Jackson and let him go? Come on. I know
Tecmo Bowl was unstoppable. Well,
Easy.
It's clear that everybody in the country is playing well, just like you guys, but there's a little hitches in everybody's giddy up. So a couple parts of each of your games that you guys can work on, but it's clear your team is pretty solid. You're two of the best in this business. Really enjoy you guys coming on, and good luck down the stretch. It should be the fun last couple of weeks.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you, Aaron, man.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Those two are the best, aren't they? Well, last week we announced our Joe Moore Award Semi-Finalists on a live stream where one of the biggest debated topics was, does pineapple belong on pizza? Well, that answer is, of course, yes, right? Like savory and sweet. Well, let's take back a look at all the fun we had announcing this year's 10 semi-finalist teams.
We are here tonight. It's a big night. We are going to announce the Joe Moore Award Semi-Finalists. So, how many semi-finalists we have and why? Break it down. See what we got.
Well, we've got 10 semi-finalists. As a reminder, there are 6 criteria: toughness, effort, teamwork, consistency, technique, and finishing. To move from the honor rolls to the semi-finalists, it's a jump. And we had 10 that we felt that really kind of embodied what these criteria were on a consistent basis, where we didn't have to struggle and watch film to start to see some of the key criteria show up on a consistent basis.
Does pineapple belong on pizza? Mike, real quick, I just want to hear your take on it.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I don't think you get to be a big guy in the trenches by turning down work when it comes to food. So if pineapple's on the pizza on the table, I'm pulling a slice every day, twice on Sunday.
But are you ordering it that way?
It wouldn't probably be my first, second, or third choice on the pizza, but I like a little sweet mixed in there with the savory sometimes. It's fun texture.
2 teams to reveal as semifinalists. Let's start with Duke. What did you see from that team?
Yes, congratulations to the Duke Blue Devils. You love to see the leadership from that group. You look statistically, 10th nationally in expected points average per design rush by a running back, 18th nationally in yards before contact per rush, and 16th nationally in yards per play. We knew about the quarterback coming into this offense, but turning them on, there are some teams you have to watch, some teams you get to watch. Duke's a team you get to watch. They see things so well together in pass protection. Tight double teams. They work together. We're 5 fat guys that have to hang out. We don't all smell great. We got to love each other. Congratulations to Georgia Tech, their coach, Deep Wade. The job they've done. I mean, Georgia Tech and Haynes King, who's a bona fide Heisman candidate, wouldn't be there without that offensive line. No doubt the quarterback run is an advantage for this unit, but I think the advantage for this group that you look again, the high-end talent up front. Keelan Rutledge was a midseason Outland Award watch list guy, second team All-American, courtesy of the Athletic on the midseason All-American teams. They've got a great toughness up front. No surprise considering who their head coach is in Brent Key.
Let's start with our first SEC school, and this is a school that I think has just blown everyone away with their play so far this year, and that is Vanderbilt.
There's a different demeanor up front in Nashville this season. They were a good offense last year. They're a great offense this year, largely attributed to this offensive line. And I think we actually mentioned last time in the last show we did, they actually flipped their guards and tackles, which was something that schools haven't really done since I was in college. It's almost unthinkable nowadays to ask a guy to play some left guard and some right guard, some left tackle and some right tackle. They do get good help from their tight ends. They have an absolute bulldog at quarterback that will run through brick walls for his teammates.
Joining us now from Texas A&M University, we have our O-line coach and run game coordinator, Adam Cushing. Coach, thank you for joining us here. This is an honor.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jenny. How are you, Cole?
I'm doing great, Coach. Thanks for being with us.
This is incredible. I would say now is as good of any time to let you know that the Aggies are officially named as a semifinalist for the Joe Moore Award. So congratulations on that, Coach.
Well, thank you so much. It's an incredible honor. Obviously, all the credit goes to the young men, man. They've gone out there and given everything this year. It's been so much fun to work with them.
Your 6th and 7th men of the year, most offensive line coaches in college football will be extremely jealous of. Do you have legitimate depth with your group right now? How difficult, how different is that to manage?
That's fun as a coach. I say it to the guys. I've said it since spring ball. Like, I'm going to be spoiled this year. I can look over there and say, your turn, right? And some of that is, we've got a nice season going, and all of those guys have gotten in there and gotten meaningful minutes.
You guys can line up and be a smash mouth football team if you want to, go 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But you got this group of receivers that don't need a lot of space to create explosive plays. And oh, by the way, a quarterback that can leave everybody in the dust and can sit in the pocket and throw the ball. And you got a mobile quarterback in college that was a grinder, that was running the football, calling plays for you, that was doing all kind of crazy stuff. Like, you guys pretty much have everything at your disposal. Has that made your job a little more difficult this year? Has it made it more fun this year? Just give us a little description of how that has been for you.
Yeah, I think it's fun. The weapons we have, it really are unrivaled around it. You said it. You got all these backs too, that you go out there and every week it seems like a different back's having his best game, right? And Ruben's obviously stepped up big in Lev's absence, but no, it's been fun because there's nobody that they can key in on, right? I mean, we get pretty favorable defenses because you look at the way our offense has been operating with incredible balance, right? They can't put 9 in the box, right? They've got to make sure that KC and Mario and Ashton, those guys outside, are covered, and when they do roll down, Marcel's done a really nice job of taking advantage of it.
Yay or nay on pineapple on pizza? Are you for it or against it?
Only grilled pineapple is the only pineapple.
Come on.
It's the only pineapple. I don't like regular pineapple. I'll eat grilled pineapple.
All right.
This group up front puts in work each and every week. Outside zone, Nick Cardwell, wherever you've seen him, is someone that's excelled at teaching this play in particular. They've allowed 2 sacks on the season so far, this college football season. That's tied for the fewest in the sport. 3rd in rushing success rate, 10th in EPA per design rush. This is a group that has paved the way for guys up front, multiple different schemes. We talk about the things we're looking for: teamwork, consistency, and technique. Utah, congratulations to the Utes. And this group, their offensive line coach, Jim Harding, they came into the year with a lot of fanfare because of the NFL potential of the offensive line in front of them. Spencer Fano, Caleb Lamu, 2 of the more highly touted offensive tackle prospects in this draft class, and they just happened to both play on the same unit. Spencer was a midseason All-American candidate for them. And this team has a commitment to that. I know people look at the offense and they see, the quarterback involved in the run game and all the moving parts and the bells and whistles of the motion, but it all happens, all that window dressing, because you count on that group up front to go play a physical, effort-filled, nasty brand of football. They routinely put a 6th offensive lineman on the field to show you their dedication to getting downhill. This is a big, thick, nasty group.
Question of the day.
Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza.
Okay, so I think you should be allowed to eat whatever you want, however you want it. Totally fine. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'm not gonna tell you can't do it. However, you shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense to put pineapple on pizza. Would you eat pineapple with cheese? Would you eat it with red sauce? No. You wouldn't put it with anything else on the pizza. So I don't get the flavor profile. Repeat that. If you like it, I love the story, right? Late night after a baseball game, you order yourself pizza. Great. I'm not gonna. I'm in New York City right now. I wouldn't go get a pizza and ask for pineapple. So I just wouldn't do it.
We're gonna reveal the 4 teams from the Big Ten, and we're gonna kind of work our way through them.
Oregon is looking to punish their opponents, right? They're looking to go downfield and make that extra block. They're looking to put guys in the ground. I think you saw it Saturday. They took it personally. They took personally that they had heard heading into the Iowa game that Iowa is a certain way. It's hard to win there. Can you do it? And then you come out with a bunch of guys hurt, and it's pouring rain, you can't really throw the ball, and they rushed for 260 yards and dominated that game. The one that we come back to every year is Iowa, because like it or love it, hate it, whatever you think, Iowa is Iowa football. They're going to do what they do, and when you put on their film, it's very comfortable. It's under center runs, it's the outside zone. Now, this year they had the mid zone, and they're a physical, violent bunch. It wasn't as pretty against Oregon, but think about this. Everyone knows you're running the football. When you talk about these other teams so far, there's no guarantee they're running the ball in every play. Iowa's out there to run the ball nearly every play, including some of those quarterback runs.
Elite Mentals just asked, why is a unit like Iowa so consistently good?
Yeah, Kurt Ferentz.
I was going to say, have you seen coaching staff there?
That offensive line, man. It's a group that is so tough, and you could see their effort and their strain to finish and just their want each and every week. And I think, again, back to the big moments. I remember watching Saturday and their center, who's their engine, right? He's their guy to go. in the 2-minute drill at the end of the game, no timeouts, right? They have to make a play. And they zoomed in on him, just like coaching up his entire offense in the huddle, telling them it's going to be like, you want that from your center. And that's the way they play. They went on the road to Penn State, still a tough place to play, on the road to Iowa, on the road to Oregon. 3 good defensive lines came out with 3 wins. Wasn't always pretty, but that's football. It's not going to be pretty. And their ability to just be really good at what they do.
The Michigan Wolverines, they've won the award before. What sticks out about their unit this year?
I think what sticks out is their improvement throughout the season, right? You know, they were transitioning to a new young quarterback, and with that comes a different offense at times and a different responsibility up front, where a lot of it does come to the offensive line, especially with some tough road games early on this season. And they were early on sort of boom or bust. A lot of sort of 1-2 yards, then boom, long touchdown run. And we're seeing a lot more consistency from this offensive line. They're doing different things up front now. They used to sort of be like a mash it together and run up the middle and sort of all come together unit. And now they're doing a different, outside zone, a little mid zone, a little inside zone. And what we see from them is just constant improvement. That's one thing I love about this award, is that what you did week 1 matters, but we'll count the rest of the season. Like we'll count the whole season, and we'll see if you've gotten better. I think for Michigan, they just improve each and every week.
So this is the semifinalist spotlight presented by Don Joy.
Iowa looks so similar to what Coach Moore coached. I played for Harry Heastand at Notre Dame, who is obviously a Joe Moore disciple and a guy who coached a Joe Moore Award winning offensive line. And they do a lot of stuff you recognize. They fire off the ball with violent intent. And I think to Jeff's point, we talk about all the time, one of the big debates around these groups is teams that win because of their offensive line. And that has been the bedrock for that Iowa program.
We can't all three say the same team here.
Are we all going Iowa?
I love watching Iowa. I love Logan Jones. I love Bo Stevens, but I'll go a little bit of a different direction so it's not complete groupthink here. You and I discussed them a little bit earlier. It's the Vanderbilt Commodores, because not only have they not looked like this last year, the last few years, they've never looked like they look right now. Like, this group is just on a different level than anything we've ever seen in Nashville.
Look, I'm going to cape for my team for just a little minute here. They knew what I was doing. They know why they invited me here. There's not a group that we've seen this year that I think gives the effort down the field to make walks. You can highlight them all through the season of 10, 15, 20 yards downfield, getting guys, hunting guys up, and just the effort from the entire 5 to buy into that.
Mike, what was the go-to snack food when you played?
Oh, it was Uncrustables and Rice Krispie Treats are the currency and love language of snack time in most offensive line rooms in most schools. We got a ton of literature now. The Rice Krispie Treats, distance athletes love them before everything. Me and my roommate in the hotel the night before used to just sit there, eat them in bed, and throw the wrappers on the floor. So inevitably, someone gets up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and you would just hear that crunch of wrappers on the floor like leaves on the forest floor.
Before bedtime, wow.
Oh yeah,
I was way too fat to do that before bedtime, buddy. That would be a bad news bears for me if I did that. Good for you, man. I love that.
I was one of the guys trying to gain weight, so I needed all the help I could get.
I think Uncrustables needs to somehow sponsor sideline reporters, because I talked to all of them: Fox, ESPN, CBS, NBC. We're all crushing them on the sideline. So I'm just saying.
I live on those things. I actually bought some at the store the other day just because I wanted it. They feel so normal to me now because I eat them on the sideline every weekend.
They feel so right.
We gotta have some of those at the house.
All right, I have the final results of the Does Pineapple Belong on Pizza? 49% says absolutely. That's what I like to hear. 32% never, can take it or leave it. 19%. Does that equal 100? I don't think so. But we're not going to worry about that.
Oh, look at you. You made it all the way to the end, grinding through like it's play 18 or 9 on 7. So pancake that subscribe, smash that like button, and pull around the corner to share this with your buddy. Trent's life rolls best when the whole crew's in the huddle.